Have you ever heard the expression, Rome wasn't built in a day? This sentence expresses perfectly why consistency and hard work is the two most important things to achieve success. But how do you show up every day and work hard? My best bet? By making a daily routine. Routines are made to make your day-to-day life easier, less stressful and more consistent. So by structuring your day out and focusing on what's really important, you're capable of more than you know. Let me show you guys what my daily routine looks like when I'm not traveling and how it's improving my life every day. I wake up at around 8 AM. This differentiates throughout the year since I'm waking up when the sun is waking up, so in the summer I'll be waking up earlier and in the winter I'll be waking up later. This is one of the things that I really appreciate that I'm able to do with the job that I have. After that, we go for a walk. So we've now gone for the first thing I do every morning, and that's going for a walk. And I usually just go for a small walk. It really depends on the weather and what I'm feeling the day, but I usually go on a walk every day. One of the main reasons I do it is mainly to wake up from just sleeping, because I'm not a morning person at all. And the other reason is when you get sunlight in your face and just outside in the first hour of your day, you will get like a boost of energy for the rest of the day, which is always nice to do. Plus, I also think it's a really nice way to start my day, just going outside and getting some fresh air and using my phone as the first thing in the morning. Next thing is the cold shower, which I have a love-hate relationship with. I hate being in the shower, but the adrenaline and the feeling afterwards is something I just can't go of. After this, I brush my teeth and fix my hair. Then we'll quickly go into my room and clean it and make my bed. I do this every day, so it rarely takes me more than 5 minutes. Then we're meditating. This is something I do to help set the tone right for the day and to make sure I don't stress too much. Then we're getting a no-carb breakfast early on. And then lastly I read a page in a book called The Daily Stoic, as it sets my head in the right place. All of this is done not using my phone, only listening to music from it. So in the beginning it was not as complex as it is now. There was way few things I needed to do and way few things I needed to focus on. But I do still try to keep it as simple as possible so it doesn't get too overwhelming, and I think that's a lot of the reasons why people don't do morning routines is because they think they have to do all these different kinds of things to make them really get in the right mood for the day. But for me, it's just doing a few very simple things that just set the tone for the day. One thing that I'm still doing is I'm still working on the morning routine every day. So if I have something I don't like or it doesn't work for me, I take it out of the morning routine. And if I have something new I need to try, I'll try to put it on, and if it doesn't work out, I'll take it out as well. I think with routines, you have to build on it all the time. So if something gets to a point where it's just a habit for you and you don't really think about doing it, but just doing it, you might as well just add new things that will benefit you throughout the day or just in the morning. So first thing I would do is to make a coffee. After I've made my coffee, I will go up to my computer and take a look at the to-do list I made the day before. I will then decide what is most important. I will then rearrange my to-do list so the most important stuff is at the top and the less important is at the bottom. And then we can get started with work. Alright, so I have now figured out what I need to do first today, which is gonna be my YouTube Shorts, since that's something new I'm starting to do, and I'm really loving the process, but it is also a bit more work than my Reels, since I am scripting stuff in it and I need to film it at home here so that I can just use my travel footage that I'm using on my Reels. But at the same time, it's worth doing since I really love doing it, and I also think that it's going to benefit me in the long run on YouTube, as it kind of what YouTube is pushing out just as Instagram is at the time. When I'm home, I really try to keep up with my training, as when I'm traveling it can be really hard to keep it up as I don't have a gym to work out in always. I work out 6 times a week and I do a push-pull leg cycle. After I started working out, I've seen a massive boost in my mood, my mental health and my confidence to go out and achieve my goals. So if you're not working out, I can only recommend starting, and it doesn't have to be 6 times a week as I do, but just do some exercise, and I promise you, you will feel better both mentally and physically. It is now time for the first proper meal of the day. So as I burn a lot of calories throughout the day, I also need to eat a lot to gain my muscle and not to lose much weight. So between 12 AM and 1 PM, depending on when we are working out, I will make myself 100 grams of bacon and then eat 4 eggs. I do this almost every day. I still try not to eat any carbs until the afternoon, as I get kind of lazy from it and lose energy. I usually eat for around 30 minutes while I watch something on YouTube, but today I was on a call with one of the people I am going to Portugal with in about a week. So after I've eaten, I will usually go back to working again. I will do the task that I put further down on the list, and I will again go through which one of those I think is most important. And then I will use the rest of the high performance energy I still have now to make sure that I get those done first. As I mentioned earlier, this is usually not the most important task because I finish those off early in the day as I had my highest energy level there, and I think that I can perform my best and do the best job early on in the day. But these tasks are still some essential tasks like emails or reaching out to brands that I want to work with, or just practical stuff that I need to get done. And then at some point when I have been working for 1 to 2 hours, I would probably go for a run or a walk to clear my head again. I can't work for more than 1 to 2 hours, otherwise the work that I do is just gonna be garbage and I can't really use it for anything. And that's something I had to figure out myself, and I know it's different from everyone else, and that's why I think it's important to make your own daily routine and not only follow someone else's, but figure out what really works for you. And you can always work on your daily routine and add stuff to it and then remove stuff from it as well. And today I have something I need to go pick up, some packages, so I might as well do my walk there and then just go pick up those to clear my head, and then I can go back to work afterwards. Okay, so it is now 4 p.m. and this means that a normal work day would be over now, but for me, as I am working and I don't have any boss to tell me what to do, I can decide myself if I want to work or if I want to take some time off. And for me, it really depends on the day, because if I have a lot of work to do, I really need to do the work and I'm gonna focus on doing that. But if I don't have too much work to do, this is the time where I can just kind of relax and don't do too much and kind of rest my head. So I would probably just play either video games or watch a series, or I would just relax and don't do too much. Sometimes I would go for a run here, even though I did a walk, just to get out and get active, because I really love staying active and it really helps me clear my head and just kind of staying focused. Today I decided to sit down and work for a bit since I had a lot of work to do. So I have just been editing for around 1 hour to 2 hours now of the video that I'm actually filming now, and I can feel that I am kind of losing my energy now, so I think I'm gonna go for a run. Even though I have already done my walk, I wanted to just go for a run now because I feel like it, and we still have a bit of light outside. So let's go do that. Alright, we are back from the run. We did around 4.5 kilometers, and it's just nice to get outside once in a while and compensate for the fact that I usually sit in here in my room editing, doing emails, contacting clients, just all this stuff inside of here. So it's nice to just get outside sometimes, going to the gym, working out, and just using my body, because I usually don't use it too much when I'm sitting in here. It's now 8 p.m. or a tiny bit over 8 p.m. but it's around there, and at this time of the day I usually say to myself that I can choose what I want to do, so I don't feel bad about not working. But if I have the motivation and I have work to do, I can still choose to keep on working and maybe work on a passion project or something I just want to get done but don't need to get done. I do feel like it is important not to work all day and give my brain some rest, so I usually like to either watch a show on Netflix or HBO, or play some video games with my friends and just completely use my brain on something else than video, mailing, just everything that has to do with my job. When it gets late enough for me to start to get ready for bed, I've actually made myself an evening routine just as I have a morning routine. And this is something I think a lot of people overlook, but it's actually important to make sure that you get the best sleep as possible. The more time you put into getting better sleep, the more energy you will have throughout the day. And this is something I've been feeling a lot since I have started to improve my sleep overall and just focusing on what I'm doing just before I go to bed. And just as my morning routine, I try to keep my evening routine as simple as possible. This means I only have 3 main things that I focus on. So the first thing is I need to brush my teeth. Then I have a notebook that I write in every day. I usually write how I feel mentally and how the day has been. This really makes me reflect on the day and what I could have done different to make it better. I think it's important to reflect back on the day to see if there's something you could have changed, and maybe it's some part of the routine that you can change to make your day even more productive or even just better overall. And lastly, I'm reading. This is something I started to get into instead of using my phone before going to bed. First of all, I fall asleep way easier. Not having the blue light in your eyes just before you go to bed is actually making a huge difference for me, just falling asleep in like 5 to 10 minutes. I also overall sleep better, so that means I have more energy the next day. Plus, I am reading self-development books, which I think is just gonna help me get better every day. Really, a habit I can recommend you all taking up is reading before going to bed. It has changed my sleep drastically. I think when it comes to routines, there isn't just one routine that everyone can follow. Everyone has different goals and different needs, but I do think that to some degree that everyone would benefit from having a daily routine. One thing I have learned from making my own routine and kind of building onto it is that you have to make sure that you don't work all day. In the beginning, when I made my routine, I would set goals to work maybe 12 hours a day, and that's pretty much all I did, was to work and to edit videos, which is also fun if it's a passion project that I'm really into. But when you also have to do emails and all the stuff that you don't really find that fun, then it just gets too much in the end. And I do think that I've come to a point now where I have figured out when my effective hours are, where I do the most work and where I do the best work, because then I can kind of focus on those hours as I'm doing. As I told you guys, that in the morning I am way more effective than I am in the evening, since my brain is kind of torn out in the evening. And I know it's different from everyone. I know people that is night owls and work better at night, but for me it is in the morning. So I think when you have to make a daily routine, you have to take that in mind when you work the best, and then you have to put all the focus you have on those hours, since I don't think anyone can work all day, and you have to have some free time where you can do whatever you want to. So finding the balance between work life and your free time is really important. And then lastly, before we end this video, I want to challenge you to make a daily routine. It doesn't have to be anything special, it doesn't have to be anything that takes all day. Just having a morning routine and maybe an evening routine, and then you have to structure out your day a bit more than you maybe do now if you don't already have the daily routine. I promise this will benefit you both productively, but also make sure that you stay on top of your work and you still have time to do whatever you want in your free time. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, I would really appreciate if you would leave a like on the video and consider subscribing to my channel. I will see you in the next one.